Oklahoma City won Game 7. However, and I'm going to pull it up because I want to make sure I get it exactly right. However, it was the least watched NBA Finals in modern history, and I want to make sure that I am getting it correct. So I'm pulling this up right now, and we have got game-by-game breakdown. There was an average, even with 7 games, an average of 10.2 million viewers. So even though they got the entirety of the series, they got all of this sort of massive opportunity over a 7-game series, the overall viewership, 10.2 million viewers, was the lowest outside. They barely got over the 2021 finals, the lowest basically since the COVID era. And it was an unmitigated disaster. Only one other time in the 2007 year, only 9.29 million viewers watched, but that was a 4-game sweep. This was, frankly, an unmitigated disaster for the NBA. They now have, given you an example, 29 million viewers watched the Jazz and the Bulls in 1998. Only 10 million viewers on average watched the 2025 7-game series. It means the NBA has lost about 70% of its viewership. And that loss has accelerated to a massive degree since they went super woke. LeBron, Popovich, Kerr, the NBA put BLM on the court. They put political slogans on the back of jerseys. Their audience has collapsed since. Here is my olive branch to the NBA. And by the way, NCAA Men's Championship tournament records, first and second round all time. Women's college basketball record highs all time. The WNBA, the freaking WNBA is hitting all-time highs. Super Bowl had its most watched Super Bowl ever. So everybody out there who's saying, well, it's just television, nobody watches television, you're wrong. You are completely and utterly wrong. This is the NBA destroying its brand. So my olive branch to Adam Silver, who has presided over the collapse of the NBA brand, is Oklahoma City should go visit President Trump in the White House. Adam researched this. I think I'm correct. No NBA team has ever visited the White House since Donald Trump was elected president. I think this is the case. You can trace essentially the collapse of the NBA brand to the Trump era. They just have fallen off the radar. If I were giving advice to Adam Silver in Oklahoma City, the NFL, the Major League Baseball, the NHL, every major college team, all of them have visited the White House. At this point in time, the only team that has not visited the White House, that has won a championship, is the NBA. And to be fair, that just happened. And so, to me, it is a no-brainer for the Oklahoma City Thunder to visit the Trump White House and end once and for all this debilitating political era of the NBA, which has lit their brand on fire. Other sports ratings have not collapsed like the NBA. Basketball is still really popular. You can look at the men's and women's college basketball ratings. This is something that I've been hammering for years because no one else will touch it because I'm right and the data is clear and transparent, and a lot of people want to pretend it's not true. Republicans do buy sneakers too. Michael Jordan was right, and a lot of people have tuned out of the overall basketball in the NBA universe. Best way they could help to send a signal that they are back to wanting everybody to be fans, whether you vote Republican, Democrat, or Independent, is by visiting President Trump in the White House. It's a no-brainer. It's an easy olive branch. It should happen. Now, some people are going to say, well, the NBA, the Lakers just sold for $10 billion. Or, hey, look at the television deals. They're doing fine. Yeah, because the gamble here, and this is a bigger picture that doesn't get talked about that much, is the streaming companies are basically gambling that they're going to be able to make way more money off advertising because they can target you directly. They know, for instance, Amazon does exactly what you bought. They are able to sit down right in front, have their analysis of you. They know what your household bought. They know what shows you watch. They know if you just had a baby. They know if you just retired. They know if you like to gamble on sports. They know what state you live in to feed you the absolute appropriate ads. Let's say you live in a state where there are a variety of different fast food chains. Some of them might not be located in your place, or even hyper-local. They have the ability to target you. Again, trust me, the gamble here is not based on the NBA's audience growing. It's based on the idea that they're going to be able to target you. And it's why, ultimately, I think baseball is going to get a really good streaming deal when their deals all come up, because baseball is going to be able to deliver that same kind of audience that the NBA can. The NBA brand is, as a product in the United States, in significant decline. It has been 29 million people watched Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals in 1998. That's the high watermark for the NBA. Around 9 million, that's per game average. Around 9 million people on average are going to watch this current league. That means that about, 70% roughly of the audience that watched in 1998 is watching today. And people can say, oh, well, that's just the decline of cable. That's just the decline of television, whatever you want to say. It's not true. NCAA women's basketball all-time records. WNBA right now, all-time records because of Caitlin Clark. NFL, all-time records. Men's basketball, all-time records. In particular, people like basketball, they just lit the NBA brand on fire. Now, some people are going to say, well, Clay, why did the Lakers just sell for $10 billion? Because a super rich guy wanted to own a prized asset. Same reason that sometimes a painting by Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci or any of the other, Van Gogh, whoever you want to point to that's a super positive artist. Bill Simmons tweeted, the Buss family owned 66% of the Lakers. Walter owned 27%. Random people owned 7%. Walter offered $4.8 billion for 48% more at a $10 billion valuation. The Buss family said yes, kept 18%. So Walter's side paid $1.35 billion, a lot of math here, in 2021 for 27%, then $4.8 billion for 48%. So they paid $6.15 billion total for a 75% majority share. It's not that crazy. So anyway, the valuation, actually, since they already own 27% of it, they're basically valuing what they already owned at a massive increase while paying additionally. So, look, my point on pro sports leagues, I told you, hey, go buy the Atlanta Braves stock. I bought it myself. I've got a bunch of it. So it's hard for the average guy or gal to own part of a pro sports franchise. Pro sports franchises, there aren't very many of them, and they are the equivalent of super expensive paintings that a rich guy gets to hang on his wall. They are not typically about cash flow, not typically about earnings, price to earnings ratios. They are a function of a rare asset class that super rich people want. And so far, nobody has lost any money because there's always a richer billionaire who wants to own what a rich billionaire owns. Maybe that will change, but there's only, 32 NBA franchises, 30 Major League Baseball franchises, 32 NFL franchises, around 32, I think, NHL franchises. There just aren't that many of these prized assets. And there's a lot more super rich people that are interested in owning a pro sports franchise than there are pro sports franchises for sale. So it doesn't have to be super rational when it comes to the valuation in play.